Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Hope y'all have had a great Thursday. Hope y'all are having a great work week or just week in general. As we're about to get to the weekend, we're about to start to enter Thanksgiving week. The holidays are coming up. So, what we're going to do here is we're going to give you the latest information on next week. Thanksgiving week is the weather wise, but we're also going to branch a little bit away from that and look a little bit further and beyond, even though it's not reliable to. Things are going to change a lot, but we're starting to get some hints on what's coming up basically past Thanksgiving week as we start to get into the first part of December. We'll just talk a little bit about that, but enough for us to get a little bit of an idea. We'll talk about the short term, what's going on right now as a basically a big time cool down across the eastern U.S. is continuing to work its way through overnight and will pretty much clear the East Coast by tomorrow. So we're going to talk a little bit about that too. Guys, it's almost the holiday season, so I know a lot of people have a lot of questions about snow, about their specific area. Trust me, I live in South Carolina. It never snows here. I'm 30 years old, and I still hope and pray every single year that we can get some kind of freak winter storm here in South Carolina around the holidays. I've always said to my weather buddies, I said I'll sacrifice the entire winter, the whole rest of winter for January and February just to get a nice snowfall around the holidays. I think it would be freaking awesome, and my kids would love it, and I would probably love it even more than them. But let's get going here. If you guys have not subscribed, hit the subscribe button, like the video if you like it. I make weather videos every single day. I'm also a storm chaser. I'm very excited for next year. Unfortunately, I've ran out of all my days off this year except one. I'm trying to keep one day left to see if I can get a snow chase by the end of the year. But I'm looking forward to chasing next year and bringing you some more content. And yes, it's a passion for mine, and y'all make it happen for me. Y'all really do. Y'all give me a platform to express what I love, which is the weather. So thank y'all. So let's get going here. So we'll look at what's going on right now as a cold front's continuing to work its way through. This is kind of right now what temperatures should be in your area in general. And you can obviously see where the cold front is, right? It's moving through. It's your classic northwest to southeast oriented cold front. It's moving through. It'll move through overnight. By the way, there is a lunar eclipse tonight. So if you guys want to wake up around 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, check that out. I think it'll look kind of reddish in the sky. I haven't looked much into it. I'm up around 4:30 anyway, so I definitely will take a peek and check it out. But I know a lot of photographers will be checking that out. It will be cool for any of you early birds who like to get up real early and check things like that out. But it'll be rather chilly for a good portion of the Ohio Valley, Mid-South, as this cold front kind of establishes itself here, moving forward here. And then tomorrow for potential high temperatures is around mid to late afternoon tomorrow before the sun starts to go down. Temperatures will peak. This cold front will even get into Florida. We'll cool down Florida. And just a nice day. It'll be just downright chilly in the Ohio Valley and Northeast for sure, but some areas not getting above freezing, especially in the higher elevations. But the rest, it's going to be a pretty chilly Friday evening for any high school football or just football in general. And then a lot of people will wake up in sub-freezing temperatures, even areas far south will. So certain areas might get their coldest night of the season so far, Saturday morning, and it sets up for a chilly weekend. But the coldest area of the season by far is coming early next week, and we'll show you that here. First, I want to show you what's going on as far as precipitation. What is going on? I mentioned in the video that it looks like we're going to be active. I'm not saying we're going to be winter weather active, because I know a lot of people this time of the year, when you hear active, you're thinking winter weather. If you hear active in the spring, a lot of times it means severe weather. Hurricane season, it means obviously heightened hurricane chances. So the word active means different in different times of the year. But moving forward here, we'll get this cold front on through. Then we start focusing on early next week, Thanksgiving week. Big time cold front moves through. It's going to be a lot of moisture, a lot of rain. This is going to be an impactful storm as far as impacting travel for anybody leaving Sunday or Monday. Snow will wrap behind this and really get the lake effect snow bands going. So if you're traveling Monday across the Ohio Valley, you're going to be dealing with some snow. How much snow? We'll know a little bit more going into the weekend, but I really think areas east and southeast of the Great Lakes, like Lake Michigan, Lake Erie, Lake Ontario, are going to get some significant lake effect snow. And then there's going to be the chance Monday into Monday evening into maybe overnight, Monday into Tuesday, a northwest flow event can get kicked off here. I don't really see anything super significant, but the higher elevations in the mountains of even North Carolina and Virginia, and Tennessee, and definitely West Virginia, could certainly see some snow. Roan Mountain's always a big favored area for that in Tennessee, as far as talking about areas really south. At the same time, the system gets going here and intensifies. It pops off kind of another low pressure right here, and it has its own pocket of cold air aloft. And as this gets going here, it kind of shoves some more precipitation back west. And this has been showing up on the GFS and the European. It's going to be very interesting in what it shows in the short-term models. If this happens, you got to watch out for areas like even Boston and the Northeast, even southern New England. Could you get some kind of snow band that sets up here as we're getting into Wednesday night? Maybe. And, certain areas might wake up to a wintry Thanksgiving morning. I know that's always cool for sure. Heck, we can't even get a wintry Christmas time here in the South. So wintry Thanksgiving, I'm getting super jealous over that. But what happens beyond that is very intriguing to me and interesting. It's the GFS and the European has been adamant on showing some kind of other system late next week, so about a week from today. And this is your classic looking cutting system where you have maybe a little bit of ridging building here in the southeast and another cold front trying to move through. Could there be some cold air that links up with that moisture? Not sure. We got a lot to figure out with that one. But it looks like some systems really start popping off here. Another one shows up, but this is 300 hours out. As far as the European, the front moves through, shows the same thing. Let me make this a little bit bigger for you guys. This moves through. Front moves through. It's very active. This just looks like a lot of heavy rain, potentially gusty winds for certain areas of the Northeast. Backside snow kicks off. The lake effect snow bands are kicking off, and here goes that kind of that band of snow that might try to pop off here right into here. So you got to watch out. There could be some kind of band of snow that gets going late Wednesday into Thursday morning. And then you got to watch this little event too. This has kind of been showing up here. Some precipitation might start outbreaking, whatever you want to call it, start spreading across the Ohio Valley and Mid-Atlantic. Is there enough cold air for that to be kind of any flurries or wintry weather? Not sure. But here as we get into late next week, another system tries to show up here. At the same time, that system that moved through early in the week, next weekend could get blocked almost back south, if you will. This is now 9 to 10 days out. It's pretty hard to figure out. But it almost shoves this low pressure back into the Northeast and then spreads some snow into the Northeast as you get into next week and very far out. But then you got this little system that starts firing off here, and there's some cold air around. This would definitely start showing snow or wintry weather, but then again, it's 240 hours out, so it's very hard to take serious. A little bit closer look at the Northeast with this potential big-time Thanksgiving system here. Shows a low pressure here and a low pressure here. What happens with this is going to be fascinating to me because in general, it looks like this doesn't really get its act together until off the coast of the Northeast. But some precipitation might wrap back around to the Northeast, and by the time that happens, there's a little bit of snow. I'm sorry, I'm getting my words all jumbled up. There's a little bit more cold air in place. So if any precipitation gets wrapped back around Thanksgiving, it could fall in the form of snow for areas in the Northeast. Not really talking about New York City, but maybe. You never know. We still got a few days to work this out. As far as precipitation showing up on the EPS ensembles, I tell you what, at my house here in South Carolina, we have had a very dry fall. I mean, very. I can't even really think of the last time we got over a half an inch of rain in one day. I really can't. But you see the big time precipitation showing up early next week off the coast of the Northeast. I think Maine is going to be heavily impacted by this, whether it's heavy snow or rain. I think they're going to get a lot of rain, but it could go over to snow. But you see the big void kind of right here in the southeast up into the Mid-Atlantic. I think that starts to fill in as we get into late next week, into weekend. I think there's going to be some systems that start to show up. What I'm interested in is how often we're going to start to see fantasy runs showing up. Fantasy runs as in crazy winter storms showing up pretty far south, 240 hours out. I think you might start to see some fantasy runs showing up here in the future. But I really don't think it's going to be very hard for any of that to come into friction. I'm going to talk to you why here in a second. But as far as snowfall, 240 hours out, that's 10 days. You don't see really any significant signal for any super uncommon areas that don't see snow that year. Basically, what I'm saying is these areas, it's pretty common to see snow this time of year. Now, there could be some intense lake effect snow off Lake Erie. I'm watching that area particularly. I really am. Just east of Cleveland, watching Erie. Y'all could have some impactful weather up there in the far northwest tip of Pennsylvania and areas of Ohio and far western areas of New York. So watching that area for sure. But what we got going on here is this front will move through. This is a little dip in the jet stream moving through. This will move through, make for a chilly weekend. It'll be about average temperature wise into the weekend to early next week. And then you have your big time cold front that moves through, that dips really, really far south. This is a sharp trough. So when you see normally real sharp troughs, meaning it's a really stout dig right here, that normally means they're pretty fleeting, which means they normally don't last long as far as really keeping cold air around very long. So it's going to be very, very cold for about 2 days next week across the eastern U.S. And then, heck, by the time you get to Thanksgiving, especially areas in the south, it could just be a downright nice day, a very average day, highs in the 60s, lows in the 40s. Just depends on what your average temperature are, or your average temperatures are in your neck of the woods. But it could really be a nice Thanksgiving in between storm systems. But as you get into the weekend, you notice the bluer anomalies start showing up here. And you might get a pattern with blocking in Greenland right here with a negative NAO setting up for a stormy pattern. Trough digs here. But what I'm noticing here is when you're getting to about 10 to 11 to 12 days out, you're not getting any cold air source. You're getting what you call a positive EPO, which is East Pacific Oscillation. And basically that's a trough over Alaska. So think about it like this. When it's really, really warm in Alaska, not necessarily 80 degrees, but say it's January and you're seeing reds right here and ridging in Alaska. And they're just having above normal temperatures, which above normal temperatures in Alaska, probably in most cases, is cold enough for snow in areas of the south. So, but when you have cooler than average anomalies showing up here, and basically lower anomalies, basically troughing, which is probably going to be cooler than average temperatures because you have troughing over Alaska, what that normally means is a lot of times you're warmer than average in the southeast, or you're just around average, around temperature-wise. Now, you can be cooler than average, like this pattern is showing up. But when you're warmer than average up in Alaska, normally you're pretty cold in the east. So positive EPO showing up, not good for cold in the eastern U.S. Then you have somewhat of a fleeting or kind of dwindling away negative NAO at the same time, which could promote more of a stormy pattern. You have kind of a dwindling away positive PNA, which is basically a ridge in the west. But, you know, as we get into December, it's going to be hard to figure out because this is so far out. But there is a sign as you get into early December that maybe more of a cross-polar flow can show up, especially if you can get this ridging slide a little bit over Alaska and you can have a polar flow moving from right into here. It's really hard to figure out what it's going to do. But it's going to be interesting going forward what happens here. And I can tell you it's going to be quite chilly. So if we're looking at the southeast in general, this is potential temperatures Tuesday morning, well below freezing. Atlanta, Columbia, Charlotte, Birmingham, Mississippi, Nashville. Nashville's looking like it's in the low 20s, the mountains of Tennessee, Virginia, and North Carolina into the teens and higher elevations. Very chilly weather setting up next week. You're getting into Wednesday morning, even chillier, but more to the east. So you look at high temperatures Tuesday, highs in the 40s, maybe the 30s to try it in North Carolina, 40s Atlanta, 40s in Alabama, maybe as cold as the 40s in northern Florida. So, you look up here and it looks like it's just going to be flat out frigid for this time of the year in areas of the Ohio Valley, lows in the 20s and teens. Very cold, very chilly day next Tuesday across the Ohio Valley with highs in the 30s. But look, you get into Thanksgiving, and this is around high temperatures Thanksgiving, and 50s into the Ohio Valley, 40s into the interior Northeast. That's not really that bad for this time of the year. Now, if you flip back and go a little bit more south, let's see if I can get to this tab. Kind of rambling on here, but no, this is potential temperatures Thanksgiving. It's actually quite nice, really nice, actually. So as far as a cold Thanksgiving, I'm not seeing it. Before Thanksgiving and potentially after Thanksgiving could be quite chilly. So we'll continue to watch this. I don't see anything too crazy right now, but I do think things are going to get a lot more active as we get into next week. So that's all I got, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all have a blessed night, and I'll try to get with y'all tomorrow. Fridays are always kind of weird, as y'all know, but God bless all y'all, and have a good night.